In this episode, we welcome Tatiana Metaxa, a high jewelry expert and advisor, to reveal the truth about diamonds, uncover common myths, and share insider tips for buying jewelry wisely. Welcome to the episode 5 of the Farah Shammas podcast.
Tatiana, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for the invite.
Well, jewelry and diamonds are one of my favorite things in the world. So let's dive straight in. Let's talk about lab-grown diamonds and natural ones. Tell us the difference, the pros and cons. Are they cheating us? What is really the story behind this whole new era of diamonds and the marketing behind it? Tell us.
Okay, so you want to get straight into the
Straight
hot
into it.
topic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, like that's my personal opinion. I don't like to tell my customers what to buy because buying jewelry is very emotional. And you don't know what matters to one person that the same matters to the other one. So what I prefer is to educate and then you do and you make a choice. Who am I to tell you how you should feel?
Yeah.
My purpose though is to educate you that you choose correctly the correct money, that you're not cheated. So without saying good or bad, just facts. What are they? On the one hand, they are kind of the same that yes, it's a diamond and lab grown and natural diamond. So it's a diamond, physical and chemical properties are the same, but the way they were formed or grown is different. And the time is different.
Very different.
Very. So when I'm looking at my baby and I think it can be 2 billion years old, billion, not million, and then your lab grown diamond will be 2 weeks old. So it's starting from there. Again, I don't want to charge now. On my lectures, I have like hours talking about it and showing pictures.
But they're
and
essentially
videos.
the same. Or not?
Yeah, but if something is grown by conditions which are very precise, I mean, how the same? I mean, you still the pressure. There are two ways to grow lab-grown diamonds: high pressure, high temperature, and CVD, chemical vapor disposition. That's slightly too different. In CVD, you use gases as well and plasma. And imagine, so even when they grow, the crystal that grows before don't think of cut polished diamond, think of a rough diamond. So the crystal that grows even a different shape. So this is how gemologists in labs can identify whether it's real
But
or
that's what I was going to say. How can you tell a difference?
by that, but growing process.
But when it's polished, then how can you tell the difference?
No professional can say it. Don't believe it. I mean, don't trust people who say it. I mean, with the loop, no, you have to give it to a laboratory. Okay, if we're talking about a lower quality and lower colors, yeah, there are inclusions that a good gemologist with the loop can identify because these inclusions are typical for lab-grown diamonds and the other inclusions are typical for natural.
Yeah.
But when we're going a slight trick, maybe again in lower colors, lab-grown diamonds tend to be more grayish, bluish, and where natural, yellowish. But these are very small tricks which can't be like even 100%. And in the top
and the
quality,
price difference,
you cannot.
and the price difference of the two.
Huge.
Give us an example, like a typical 1 carat.
In 2025, the difference may be that the lab-grown diamond of a big, more than 5 and 7 carat stone should be 1 to 3% of a natural stone.
Wow.
1 to 3% only. Yeah. So whatever you're buying more, and on the smaller ones, can be up to 7% or 10% maximum if you want to give the marketing money. Like you say, this is a business, I want to give them money, good for them. Okay, up to 10% of the value of natural.
So if something's 100,000, it's 10,000 for the lab grown. If it's 1 million, it's going to be 100,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
So don't be cheated. Last year.
Yes, because if somebody goes and buys it as if they're natural and it's lab grown.
It's very sad. Last year, a friend of mine from Dubai he calls me and says, "You see, my friend already bought a ring for his wife. Although it's a lab grown, it's very nice." I said, "Okay, no problem. There is no problem for it. Just how much he got it?" He said 70,000 for 3 carats. I said, "What?" The price is maximum 7,000, and he got it for 70.
Wow.
And not only that, in 1 or 2 years, there is no value anymore for that. There is no second market for lab-grown diamonds. So that's another difference.
Wow.
Because
Why?
technology evolves like
But why
that.
not?
Because the
Because it will
technology,
be better.
every year, it's cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to produce. And why would you, in 2 years, buy a second-hand lab-grown diamond, where this year you can buy for the same money a bigger and a better quality? So you will not. And the price will drop even more dramatically. Whereas it's always a second
So it's not
market
an
for.
So it's not an investment.
No, no.
But the thing is, there's people now must be buying them. The market must be flooded with loads of lab-grown diamonds.
Yes, sure.
Everyone, okay, enjoying them, that's fine. But then, how will they know? How do you go into it? It's a huge thing then, insurance, inheritance, investment. It's a big thing.
Yeah, there is no inheritance and no investment. Like, no, you should take it as, I don't want to be too strict, but kind
Yeah.
of like an expensive hobby,
Yeah.
because as I said, by the time you have your children, that won't cost much as well. From the point of view of chemistry and physics and durability, it's still going to be sparkling, beautiful, shiny, the strongest mineral on earth. Yeah. So, I mean, in that sense, nothing is going to change. But the value will. So your kids will not be able to sell it in case they need some extra cash.
So if you like it, it looks nice, you enjoy it, great.
Yes, and it's a very good. On the other hand, it's a very good. Not everyone has huge budgets, so if your budget is limited, but you still want to have a beautiful thing and sparkling thing, and especially we ladies, we like a bigger. Like when you start buying jewelry, the size increases with the years. That thing now is, wow, it's so small, where it used to be like huge.
I was so happy when we got engaged. Now I need something 10
exactly.
times.
So in that sense, you want huge, maybe with colorful diamonds, necklaces. But I mean, this is millions and maybe like auction prices of Sotheby's.
But let's talk about colored diamonds.
Lab-grown necklace, and still you can afford it and you enjoy it, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. And then also the risk factor of theft and insurance and everything is lower.
Exactly. Yes.
Let's talk about colored diamonds, because I remember in the 90s, like, in Lebanon, like colored diamonds suddenly were everywhere. And there was a big thing between the natural colored diamonds and stones and then the stained ones. There were a lot of brown diamonds, blue diamonds, pink diamonds. And let's talk about that, because again, there's natural and dyed.
Yeah, of course, exactly.
So tell us
not
about
only
that.
dyed and lab grown, or let's say it can be natural.
Lab
but
grown
they
now. I think then it wasn't happening. But
that time no, probably that time they use radiation. So if you hit radiation, because it's all the gems, it's mineralogy, and mineralogy is the lattice structure, and lattice structure is atoms. So it's the way, so the electrons.
Make them
fantastic,
react,
fantastic chemists and technicians do this, so they can change the structure, or they add another electrons from other minerals, from other elements, that will change the color. But that time they were maybe even dyed. I mean, oh my God, crime! I'm thinking of a time. What a crime! At least here is like you can be proud of technology, science has evolved. If you like me, I'm a nerd. I like, oh, this is fascinating. Look
how
what
they did it.
Yeah.
I remember, because I remember some of the big jewelers in Lebanon. Yeah, they were like amazing rings and earrings. And I remember a lot of brown diamonds as well, like, being set on yellow gold. And Tatiana's face like, oh, cringing.
I'm sorry.
Who does that? It's like me when someone talks about a meat dish. I'm trying to. Oh my goodness, yeah. And I remember going to Switzerland and looking at a chapard one-off piece with natural, different colored diamonds, and yes, it was worth like $1 million or something. And these, they should be museum pieces.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then Lebanon's like, yeah, we dye them.
Because they
Tell us
diminish
about
the
that.
value.
Yeah.
So the colored ones, let's say Australia was very famous for colored ones, and
Okay.
it's almost exhausted if
Okay.
the mine in Australia. Maybe they will start again. They
What
said
colors were coming out of Australia?
pink and red, which are the most expensive ones on the Sotheby's and Christie's auctions. They would be all Australian. Now in Africa, in some deposits as well, are found, and so blue and pink
Yes,
and red are
blue.
the most, like, if
Mm.
they're
Yeah.
natural blue and not no treatments. It's
Yeah.
called in gemology treatment.
Yeah.
Like a treatment can be different. So if it's not treated and it's natural colored, diamond is very, very expensive. Of course, now there are some deposits are found in Africa with the smaller carats, not like huge carats, not 10 plus, little ones. They are more available to the public, and actually we can enjoy them. Yeah.
So interesting. And what about other stones? Sapphire, obviously the precious and the semi-precious. Tell
Don't
us.
say that. Like for people, you are not allowed to like diminish
Oh,
or say,
really?
yeah,
Semi-precious
not
anymore?
anymore. Yes,
Wow. I
imagine.
didn't know that.
Yes.
I love
So
this. Last one I'm going to take.
yeah.
So, okay, but
So
then, but
yeah,
they're not
and
worth as much, like
they do, and
money-wise.
some of them are more expensive
Come
than
on, like
diamonds.
amethyst and
I'll tell you now.
okay.
So
Shock
first
me,
of all,
shock
no,
us.
yeah. So in gemology, or
Mm.
like when we're in the professional field, and we're trying to say to the retailers as well, or if you're in the class, there are no any more semi-precious. They are all precious because they're
No,
super unique, they're
because
all
before it was
super unique.
obviously the
The
sapphire, the
big three,
emerald,
yeah, emerald,
yeah, and
sapphire, and
ruby.
ruby,
And these were the
then
precious, and then
yeah,
semi-precious, basically
yeah,
everything else,
not anymore.
tourmaline
Yeah,
and
yeah.
topaz and
Good that you just said
amethyst.
tourmaline. So do you know that there is a tourmaline today that's worth more than a lot of diamonds? Have you ever heard of Paraíba?
No.
Okay. You see, because I mean, the blue color is a
Yes.
very European,
Yeah.
like Asian people, they like more
Yes. Yeah.
brown and yellow, even in that sense. I noticed that in Cyprus, Cypriots don't even know about Paraíba. Paraíba is a
Wow.
tourmaline, and tourmaline Paraíba today sells for millions in auctions.
Because it's rare, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that
Where is
electric
it
blue.
mined?
Yeah, so the story is fascinating. The story goes very recent, very recent. They found it in 1988, 89, late
Ah.
80s in Brazil, and the region of Brazil is called Paraíba. It's just the name of the region. But what the difference is that in the mineral, I mean, the chemical composition is the same, but it's more rich in copper. And the copper, which is and a little bit of magnesium, manganese. Forgive me,
Yeah.
manganese, not
Manganese. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
not magnesium, manganese, but mostly copper gives that electric,
Wow. Like really
blue,
vibrant blue,
greenish bluish color.
like the sea.
Yeah. And that, so the story, it's a very famous story. And that actually touches the subject about an investment. Who did a good investment? Sometimes without knowing. First, it was introduced in 1990 or 91 in Tucson jewelry exhibition, gem exhibition in the US. It's one of the biggest one. Like in our part of the area used to be Italy, but now it's only Hong Kong. I mean, there is still Italy, but it's
Yeah.
shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and everybody attracts Bangkok and Hong Kong.
Wow.
But on the other side of the ocean, it's Tucson, Tucson, how do you pronounce it in American exhibition. So the first day, they introduced that new tourmaline and they called it Paraíba due to the source, the mine. It was about $250 per carat. We're talking about carats usually,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
about the whole price.
And this is
By the
cut and
time,
polished or uncut?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
cut and polished. By the end of the exhibition, and that usually these fairs take like between 2 to 4 days, the price was 2,000 per carat.
Wow.
like within few days.
Yeah, went up 8 times.
Yeah, because people were mesmerized with the color, the sparkle, the shine, this unusual electric, greenish blue, greenish, and
Yeah.
so on. And then within 90s, the prices went to 10,000 per carat. And today, if you're buying from this source, and especially after 2010, it goes to starting from 10,000 to 50,000, then some of them 100,000, and the most per carat. Now per carat, now multiplied by 10, for example, if the stone is,
Yeah.
and if a big, large stone, it can be 20 carats, yeah? So all these prices, I'm telling you, it's per carat. And the most expensive Paraíba ever sold today was 200,000 per carat, which was about 2.5 million as the whole piece of the auction.
But
And it's tourmaline, and you want to call it semi-precious? No, thank you very much. Very precious.
Are we in the naughty corner in a bit? Do individuals really? I mean, like for me, for example, as an average person, I get jewelry, I love it. Yeah, I'll buy a piece or have a piece, or I've got a piece from my parents, and I don't think of selling it. Do the average or many people in the world get pieces to keep them for 5 or 10 years? Because obviously jewelers, yes, and experts, yes, they're buying stones. Maybe they have a collection of stones that they'll sell later. Maybe they're buying actual sets, rings and pieces of jewelry. But the average person, are there a lot of people buying for investments?
No, of
No,
course, no. They
no.
don't. So that's the beauty of it, that
Yeah,
some of these people, without knowing,
they don't
just
even know.
yeah, they like that beautiful electric green blue stone back in 95, for example. Today we'll find out that because the Paraíba source is almost exhausted, and now they have Paraíba type from Africa, which are much cheaper. But if they suddenly want to sell it,
really, they
can you imagine the
make so much money.
difference?
And also, I guess it's a bit like the Antique Roadshow, where people inherit things and maybe it's not their style. Maybe they don't want, this ornate side table or some chandelier or, a painting in a particular frame. Same thing with jewelry. And then they say, okay, well, let me see the value. And it's much, much more than they ever imagined.
Exactly.
That's amazing. So let's talk about sustainability and gems, because there's been a lot of coverage about diamond mines not being sustainable, child labor, exhausting mines, making huge areas uninhabitable. So where is the future of diamonds?
A lot of misconceptions, a lot of. So of course, I mean, maybe it was valuable in 90s. Today it's actually not the case anymore completely.
Okay.
So first of all, there is a Kimberley law, Kimberley Association, that especially like very famous, most of the jewelers, but very famous brands as well, because they care about their prestige and without their names, they have to follow it's called Kimberley process. It's documents where your source has to be transparent, where you're buying from and where the wholesaler buying from and where they're sourced, how they're sourced, what are the salaries, the wages. Usually it's big companies, and it's much more actually when the big companies in, believe me, the safety regulations are super strict. So the people, when you see artisan like in colored, sorry, I'm like jumping from subject to
because
subject.
it's such a wide subject.
Yeah, it's because it's slightly different. Let's say, especially diamond industry, super regulated, very strict, very regulated, and almost transparent. Like almost you can trace to where and how it was mined. Where colored stones, all the other rubies, sapphires, and so on, and beautiful tourmalines, it can be, or spinels, artisan, where people literally risking their lives by sliding into the huge hole down on the wooden made ladder. Whereas in diamonds, oh my god, the safety regulations.
So there is a difference then. Diamond mining has become very much controlled, but colored stones precious
Yeah,
colored
yeah,
stones
yeah.
is not so regulated.
Yeah, but exactly. But there are some other advantages of that. So
Okay.
I'll
So
explain.
should we be more
Mhm.
careful then when buying colored stones where the source is?
No, no, it's not that there's going to be a child. Child physically
Okay.
cannot do that,
Okay.
first of all. So don't worry. In that sense, no,
Yes.
no, no. You do buy because you're giving salaries, you're giving money to these private small families
Mm,
to living, because usually these are in like in Africa or I don't know, Vietnam or Sri Lanka. So people actually thank God they have the opportunity to have that small business and
mm,
to do it,
mm.
so they can
Yeah.
feed their family.
Yeah.
So no, no, don't worry. There are other good sides
And
about
what
that.
is the markup? Because I don't know. I mean, someone could mine something and only get a few euros for it, and then that goes to a middleman who gets more, and then eventually it's sold for millions. I mean, how does it
Yeah, yeah,
work,
yeah.
the
There is a
markup?
big chain. Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
big, yeah.
definitely. There is a big chain. That's
Hmm.
for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
But another thing that I wanted to mention, that both and in the colored stones like emerald, it's huge companies in Brazil as well.
mm.
In Colombia, forgive me, my Paraíba in Brazil.
Yeah.
Paraíba in Brazil, Colombian, emeralds, like huge, very, very restricted as
Mm,
well, mining process. So both and diamonds and those huge companies for emeralds, they're obliged after the mine is exhausted to bring back the nature how
mm.
it was. So if there was
Okay.
forestry, you have to plant forests, so all
Again,
the
okay.
beautiful butterflies come back there, and every beet,
Yeah.
beetle goes back to the
True, yeah.
nature. Yeah. So in that sense, it's very good because they cannot just abandon and leave
Mm.
it as it used to be.
So now
Everybody.
worldwide,
Mhm.
it's a much better situation
Yeah,
than,
yeah.
40 years
Yeah,
ago.
exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas on the small, like we said, small families, they cannot do that much. For example, in some countries where it used to be rice fields,
Hmm.
they discovered that on their land that they all they had rice, which is very difficult, very hard to actually, as a family, huge labor to like Middle
To
Ages, let's
mine,
say,
yeah.
to do the rice, like the
Hmm.
rice,
Oh,
the one
yes,
that we
yes. Yeah, the
eat.
rice
Yeah,
paddies,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But then they found out that they have gemstones. So they use their land for their digging, they're mining
Hmm.
like very unprofessionally, but they do gems, they sell, they support their families, and actually it's much less labor.
Yeah.
And then again, it's such a small scale that they don't do any damage to the nature.
Mm.
They don't harm. There is no chemicals,
Yeah.
there are no explosives
Involved.
involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And because it's tropical climate most of the time, so by the time when he leaves in 2 years, it's full of green again, all
Mm.
back. He did a better job, a lighter job, as the
Hmm.
whole as a family. It was much
But I
easier
guess
for
in
them.
some countries, there's a lot of politics involved, maybe a lot of taxation, a lot of export
Yeah, yeah,
duties.
they're
Yeah.
trying to protect, of course. So one of the newest case, it's actually they're my new friends as
Mm.
well. So I still do my exams for gemology in London in GIA. So GIA, it's a Gemological Institute of America. Let's say if for some people who don't know anything about gemology, if you're a lawyer and you graduated from Harvard,
Hmm.
so I'm gonna be gemologist from GIA. It's like the top
The top.
rank,
Yeah.
yeah. So because some of the courses I do in America, and some of them because they have all over the world campuses, I do in London.
Congratulations. That's so
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah. So London is closer
Yeah.
to Cyprus, so I do in London. So my last course and my last exams I did in London, and I met these two my classmates, beautiful young girls, and this is about new generation and
Mm.
sustainability. So these two girls, they met at Cambridge doing their master's degrees,
Mhm.
and because they're like hardly 25 maybe, and because now at master's degrees, MBA, I think, yeah, they were doing the
Mhm.
MBA. They are very much new generation involved, and it has to be sustainable, transparent, give back to your society,
Mm.
develop your own country. One is from Bahrain and one is from Madagascar, and they formed together. They created a company because the Madagascar is the super rich island with all different gemstones. However, political situation and economic situation is not that great. So the people who are many years in industry, especially it's people from Sri Lanka and Thailand, they're coming and taking advantage of all these rich minerals and gems in Madagascar and taking them away and selling them there, even saying that they're from Sri Lanka and Thailand, because they're actually more expensive. If you say it's like a brand, the origin in gemstones, like Burma or Sri Lanka, is like, oh, that stone will immediately sell more expensively. So that Madagascar girl said, I want to give something to my society and to leave the money within the country.
Yes.
So I'm like shivering. I love this story. So she created a company. They will have from a reliable source, from sustainable mining, sell sapphires. And imagine that, plus how it goes to us, but a lot of middlemen are not anymore in the chain, taken out. So for us as a consumers and customers, it will be cheaper. But knowing that we're literally helping to that country,
but more money
live,
goes to them.
money to them, not to all these huge companies that take them to Asia and benefit and sell them for their own. Plus, lapidary is the people. Lapidary is when you cut like rough and you cut and you polish. So this is the person who does that, a cutter or lapidar. As well, usually used to be more professional, in India, in China, in Thailand, because hundreds of years, diamonds in Antwerp, where I studied my diamonds, 500 years, 500 years, diamonds are cut in Antwerp. So can you imagine? So they're training their local cutters. So again, on this chain then as well, not to give the rough away from the country, to keep it, to cut it, to give this part of the chain money again within the country. Why? But because it's not that stable, and some like European people may be afraid to trade directly and travel to Madagascar. So they decided with the other girl who is Bahrainian to have the head offices, which is near in Bahrain. And from Bahrain, which is super safe, you just spread and
they can do the distribution.
Distribution all over the world. And
so to make it more sustainable.
So this November I'm now making a group of ladies to take them to the trip to Bahrain to show all this. The girls will bring the open for us their stock, their sapphires,
and
to see how they look. And the other, and I thought to combine it, because Bahrain, I don't know if you know, it's very famous for pearls. All the pearls in the world, it's like Cartier, anything, all the expensive ones, they got from Bahrain. So we will do as well the pearl trip. And you can even dive yourself, and there is like a small, which is controlled by the government, that not, of course, to damage the undersea world. Under the control, some amount of tourists are allowed to dive and get yourself like maybe to find small pearls as well. Of course, they're not that huge.
Wow. So tell us about, you mentioned now about the cutting of the diamonds. So I've seen before like old hand cut diamonds, which are quite rough, but then you see the crowns and all these amazing jewelry from kings and queens of many years ago that look like machine cut. No, but they also look so well cut. How does that?
Okay.
I mean, explain about the whole cutting process, how that works.
Evolved with the years as well. So the Middle Ages, like even 400 years ago, if you now compare next to each other the today's diamond and the before diamond, the sparkle was not there, because it was some of them were even like almost rough, just slightly
Just
polished.
yeah.
But I mean, it's such an amazing gem that even, well, they didn't have electricity, so with the lights of the candles, even with that slightly polished rough would sparkle, but still not as much as today. So those years, most popular were rubies and emeralds and sapphires colored gems, although of course diamonds were popular. But then, thanks to fantastic men, slightly more than 100 years ago, a Jewish guy, he was a mathematician and engineer. He created mathematical formula. How? Because it's all about physics, optics. The formula,
Yes.
how many facets should be in a diamond with that chemical structure of a diamond, that it will reflect the light the best way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we have now the 57 facets, the diamond cut, the brilliant cut, it's
Mm-hmm.
called, and that's why it sparkles. It's all mathematics and how many
Wow, that's
facets.
so, yeah,
So look
so
now to
interesting.
anything which is older than 100 years old in museums.
Mm,
They don't have it. It was still evolving, and on my lectures I show the pictures
the
how
difference.
more and more facets. Yeah, there were like
Yeah.
table. It was called table card, rose card, different names of the card, and like they were from a more
Mm.
dull stone, it was getting
Yeah, yeah, like more,
brighter,
yeah, more
brighter.
vibrant. That's amazing.
Mhm. Bless
Sorry,
you.
you'll have to cut that. Sorry.
Because you moved back. Ah. To make like that because it's going.
Okay. Thank you. Cut that part. Ready? So tell us about the history of diamonds, because I read somewhere that diamonds, and was it in the 20s, that's when they became really expensive. And I think it was at Graf or Harry Winston that I should have done my research before this, where they promoted it as, diamonds as a girl's best friend. You can't get engaged without a diamond. And that's really the birth of the modern perception of diamonds, where it came from. Can you
True.
tell us a bit about that history?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, true. Well, actually, the most powerful company, influential company was De Beers.
De Beers, that was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But generally, just going slightly back, diamonds were famous for thousands of years.
Thousands of
And
years.
yeah, and
Mm.
2000 of years ago, they also were mined. Okay, they were not exactly mined as today. So there are primary deposits and secondary deposits. Primary deposits are those that you actually dig within the kimberlites, bring the diamonds on the surface. And secondary deposits are that already were brought to the surface, weathered with the thousands of years or millions, or with water, or with the flow of wind and water, and then they're found in.
Mm.
So you don't dig, you don't do that technical mining, you just find them. So that's how they were before. So only 100 years ago, they started to actually mine them in that sense. So they were, their primary source was India. Most of the diamonds were in India, but we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about secondary deposits. And then they were almost exhausted. Then Brazil a bit, and then in 1866 the Eureka diamond. Eureka is in English Evrika,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Stylinica.
yeah.
Evrika, I found
I
it. They
found
called
it.
that the first diamond. Yeah, was found in South Africa, and then by 1871 they actually started uh, the industrial process, let's say. They
Mm-hmm.
said, yeah, this is rich with diamonds, and we will actually mine them. And this is where all the machinery and the digging holes, let's say, deep inside started. My favorite part about that production, let's say,
But it
chain.
still wasn't, let's say, how every woman would want a
Ah,
diamond
yeah,
like now.
yeah.
Mm.
Forgive me. Yeah. So exactly. Tiffany, Breakfast at Tiffany's
Yeah.
played a big role as well in the company,
Mm.
and I think diamonds are forever
Yeah.
because indeed, you need about 25, more than 25 million of years that it might something starting to change in your gems. So in terms of a human life,
That's
it's
right.
forever. Yeah, the
Yeah.
diamond is forever. Yeah, so they needed that's true. That was pure marketing, and then the
Mm-hmm.
engagement. Tiffany played a huge role as well in the blue box that
Yeah.
everybody has to be. So it's a bit of De Beers, a bit of Tiffany, a bit
Mm.
of a um, uh, James Bond
Yes.
movies. So every company wanted, put their hand into
Yeah.
promoting and selling
Mm.
it more, and created the vibe
Mm.
that, as I said, the blue box of Tiffany that you open, and there you
Yeah.
have that Tiffany engagement ring. Yeah, that was artificially created, but it's emotional, and we are about emotions. People are about
Girls
feelings
love
and
their
emotions.
sparkles. We love
Yes.
our bit of glitter.
Yeah.
Um, so what's the number one mistake that people make when buying an engagement ring?
Um, Overpaying it without knowing it.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be educated. Make your, like I heard at the university, our professors used to say, do your homework, do your
Mm.
research, do your research, do your homework
But
before.
that's part of the
Mhm.
allure of going to a brand. I mean, if you go into Tiffany's or Graf or De Beers, you know, yes, you're paying more because it's a name, but you know what you're getting. Whereas if you go to a random, you know, Chris jewelry shop
Mhm.
or Maria's, you
Yeah.
know, and you look, you don't, do you know, do you not? You
Yeah.
could be more
So
ripped
what you
off. Yeah.
sorry, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So sure, you bear in mind, so when you're not buying from a big company, the operational expense of business is much lower.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the marketing expenses, this is what you're buying for at
Yeah.
Tiffany's and Cartier and Bulgari and so on and Graf. So you're not, this part is out. You don't pay for their
Mm-hmm.
marketing. So think that, but still, it's a business. I mean, it's not charity. You're
Yeah.
supporting a family, a lot of families, employees, and so on. So think, yeah, it shouldn't be as expensive as in the big brands. So
Mm-hmm.
you actually do your research. You see, there is a specific every Friday Rappaport prices. This is a famous. Unit price for like a world diamond prices. Every Friday they give the tables. Have a look at that.
I have
What
them
are the
here.
prices of diamonds?
Ah,
So you think how much do you want to put on top of that wholesale price so
mhm.
that business, like you understand that you
Yeah.
have to, but
Logically make some
logically, yeah.
money.
So
Yeah.
look how it looks like. So this
Okay.
is an
So this is Rappaport
Rappaport.
Diamond Report.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so you can
And then
see
you
a
can
couple
see,
of
so you can
pages,
see,
yeah, all the sizes and shapes and so on. Every Friday, there is a new issue with
yeah.
prices. So when you know the average, so this is the average world
Mm-hmm.
price of the dealers.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you come to small boutiques, not very small, but smaller businesses than huge
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany's and Grafs and so on, they can, because they're buying quantities, they can even sell you lower than Rappaport price because they
Mm.
get discounts and still get a profit. Or you can
Yes.
at least buy as Rappaport price. Or think how you personally are feeling comfortable to have on top of
Mm.
that price to give to that people because they serve you, they gave you beautiful, they made a beautiful jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's a conscious
Mm-hmm.
purchase. So that's what I'm aiming for at my lectures with men and ladies. You have to have a conscious purchase. Then you will never lose in natural,
Mm.
especially in natural diamond, because there is a second
That's really good advice.
market and so on. That's how you buy. Because if just they throw you prices, and then you find out, you know, how many ladies I had coming and, oh, this my ex-boyfriend or my ex-husband. He bought this for 60,000. I want to sell it. He's my
Yeah.
ex-ex, and emotionally I don't want to look at it.
Yeah.
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 And plus I need money. And like was 60,000. We're checking prices worldwide and it may be 20,000 worth. So
Yeah.
someone just
Made a
did
lot of money.
40,000 profit, yeah, on this lady, and she thought that she actually can,
Yeah.
yeah, sell it for that for this money.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
conscious purchase. So if you cannot, you don't have time. That's why I exist as an advisor, as a
Mm.
gemologist advisor, as a diamond grader. This is how you call the high jewelry advisor. You have a professional, you pay a very small fee, like for
I
my
love that because I
knowledge
have like
and
what are red flags?
consultancy. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna
Save
save you
you.
from 10,000s to maybe millions because
Yeah.
somebody can be cheated millions in there
Very
as well.
easily. If you
Yeah.
don't know, very
Yeah.
easily. So if someone had, let's say, 5,000 euros and they wanted to go and buy something, what would you recommend they buy?
Well, again, do they want? How do they feel? You can buy
It could be
if.
anything, not just a diamond. It could be
Mhm,
anything.
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, it can be. Some colored gemstones
Mhm.
are very popular now, and they will increase in prices. So if you want like an investment, it's very emotional. Do you
Yeah.
like colors? Do you like colorless?
Yeah.
And especially we recommend you have to like feel it, touch it, hold it. I mean, try it. Not to buy really probably online, because it's all about how do you feel it.
Mm.
Let's say if you ask me whether to, because you can spend this 5,000 in natural and lab grown, one of the emotional tricks is that imagine that somebody likes your ring, for example, or pendant, and say, oh my God, it's so beautiful. See how you feel. Do you feel comfortable to answer, yes, it's lab grown? Or
Mm.
you feel shy and ashamed, oh, actually, but it's lab grown. No judgment. I don't
Mhm.
judge.
Yeah.
It's just how do you feel? Maybe you feel, yes, it's lab grown. Look at the technology. I love
Yeah.
science. I love technology, 21st century. Or you're more traditional,
Mhm.
old school, and you want to say, but yeah, it's 2 billion years old.
Yeah.
No judgment.
Yeah.
See
It's
how it
as you feel.
feels.
I love
Yeah.
that you've really
Yeah.
focused on the emotion behind jewelry
Yeah. And
because, yeah, it is. And different colors, people want different things. I
yes.
mean, one of the most beautiful engagement rings I've seen was an antique one with
Mm-hmm.
aquamarine in. It was not my style, but
Mm-hmm.
on that person, it was everything to them. It suited them. There was so much love in it, and you just, yeah, it's
Of
different for
course, yeah.
everyone.
So the first thing I
Yeah,
will ask about the colors. What do you want? I mean, if you
I
like
know
bluish,
people.
greenish, pinkish, reddish, I will give you the list of the
Hmm.
gems that worth it in this color, let's say, or in this sparkle.
And the thing with yellow diamonds, so there's yellow diamonds which are worth more when it's
Mm-hmm.
like that bright
Mm-hmm.
yellow.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Yeah.
there's the white diamonds that are just quite
Yeah. Yeah.
yellowish,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
are worth less. So
Exactly.
explain a bit about that. Because that I think is quite interesting for many people. They think, oh, I'll get a bigger ring, but actually it's cloudy,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's yellowish, it's yeah, not worth as much.
Yeah. So in the scale, look at the that I brought to you
Yeah. We
in
have this from
color. Mm-hmm.
Antwerp. Yep, the
So you
four
see, as
C's.
it
So the
goes
four
in
C's are
color.
carats, color, clarity, and
Yeah,
cut.
fossils are
Yeah.
very important. Yeah, yeah, to know
Mm-hmm.
for sure when you're buying diamonds. So now the answering to your yellow diamonds question, have a look how they become more yellowish as the letters go down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are considered not yellow; they're considered dirty white.
Yeah.
So that's
As
why the
opposed to a yellow
yeah,
diamond.
and
Yeah.
then that's why you need definitely a certificate.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, again, not just somebody telling you, certificate for sure in diamonds, where it says that it's not one of those numbers. It's going to say fancy yellow. And
Fancy
when it
yellow.
goes fancy, and then it's vivid yellow, fancy, and different fancy
Yes.
yellows as well have few categories.
Mm-hmm.
So only with the certificate. Don't trust that someone will say NM
Yes.
and he sells you for the price of fancy,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. That it's a
um,
tinted color
yeah,
white diamond. And
exactly.
yeah.
Like just out of curiosity, I did the research. Like approximately tinted color in 3.5 carats diamond today with good clarity will be 19,000.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was fancy at the same clarity, like very good
Mm-hmm.
cut and clarity, but it was in the category of fancy and not those letters, 119,000.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
100,000 difference. So
Yeah.
imagine that's the thing. It's such a industry that you can be
Hmm.
cheated so
Yes,
easily.
yes,
And I
absolutely.
think that's something that bothers you and why you wanted to study it and
Exactly.
help people.
Yeah, but I cannot see how people are cheated.
Oh my
Why?
goodness.
Because it can be very open and transparent, and everybody makes money and profit. It's fine. It's nothing bad about it. But in a proper way, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what's the biggest diamond myth that you'd like to bust? Like something to leave us with that you tell people be careful of, look out for, and actually not just
There's so
diamonds,
many myths.
gem.
I'm thinking,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
know.
Myth. Myth. Yeah, they say, yeah, okay. If in diamonds, they say now that with the creation of lab-grown diamonds,
Mm,
they will lose the demand. It's not
mm,
true for
it's
sure.
not
It
true.
will never. And generally, pharaohs, like
Might make it go up,
gemstones.
actually.
Yeah.
Mm.
Generally, gemstones will be here forever because they're so much connected to our emotions, legacy,
Even
heritage, and
horoscope,
so.
we've all got a gemstone with our horoscopes, and it has energy and touchstones.
Mhm.
People go and buy jade for good luck. I mean, I give my kids touchstones for exams, to rub and get that energy.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
There's a lot to be said for natural qualities of
Yes.
stones.
So don't be
Yeah,
deceived that
not losing their value anytime
yeah.
soon.
And again, I want to repeat, no, it's not that lab-grown diamonds are sustainable to grow and natural are not. No, actually, no. You need a
Mm,
lot of factories are huge. You need a lot of energy and electricity and everything to grow lab-grown diamonds. So it's a myth that the
mm,
other one is. Worth, and the other one is that before the material that used to grow diamonds as well has to be mined, so there is still mining involved anyway,
yeah.
so it misconception.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Don't yeah, that it's over exaggerated. Come to me, come to my lectures or direct private consultations. I will
Hmm.
like step by step, like only with facts. I will, as I
Hmm.
said, I don't judge and I don't
Mm,
go on the scale like left or right. I will just
yeah.
give you the facts, educate you, and it's your decision.
Mm,
Conscious purchase, conscious
yeah.
decision.
And my dear, do you have a favorite quote? I love asking people this.
Yes, I do. So do you know Warren Buffett?
Of
I mean, who
course.
doesn't? And it happens to be his
Of course. I know
quote.
his granddaughter as
Oh,
well.
like
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah. She's
Okay.
coming. Hopefully she's coming to
Oh,
Cyprus soon. Yeah.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. That's very nice. So, my favorite quote from him: "If you don't know jewelry, know your jeweler." So
Ah,
then you're not gonna be cheated.
that's
If you don't
so
know jewelry, know your jeweler.
absolutely. I've never heard of that quote. I love it.
He
It's
wrote
so
it
true.
1989 in a letter within the company. He was saying like he was lost in investment in gems he didn't know, and then he trusted a very knowledgeable jeweler, and it's written within like a company's
Yeah.
letters
But it goes back to, find the expert. We don't have to be the experts at
in
everything.
everything.
I mean,
Exactly.
just ask
Yeah,
someone who
yeah,
knows.
yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
I love that. Thank you so much. What a great way to end.
Thank you very
Thank you for
much.
sharing so much interesting information that I think we're all better for knowing now.
My pleasure.
Thanks.